Only 5 matches to predict in this year's Clash in Paris 2025. Hello, everybody. My name is Sancho West, and welcome to Sancho West Wrestling, where I talk about all things I love about wrestling. If you want to sub to the channel, that'd be awesome. My goal is to hit 100K subs so I can get my face on the thumbnail here for my podcast. Wrestling is cool. But one thing I want to point out, this is crazy. The 5 matches on the PLE needs to stop sooner than later. Not only did it increase the price of ESPN, I want more matches. I've said this 2 years ago that I feel like the roster was too stacked to only have 5 matches on a PLE. There's been multiple B-level PLEs that don't have championships, that don't have certain championships. And look at this one right now. Now, this is recorded before Friday on SmackDown, but we don't have Julia on the card. That's the Women's United States Champion. We don't have so many championships. We don't even have the Undisputed Champion on the card. There's so many things that are having an issue for me when it comes to the number of matches. You could go 7 to 8 matches, that'd be great. I feel like so many superstars need the experience. I was laughed at by when I was saying, like, why isn't this person not on the card? You need experience. Experience matters to the PLEs. And my co-host would say, well, their story hasn't been earned. The story hasn't earned a spot in the PLE, things of that sort. And I feel like most of the times when he gets to these 5 matches and the story is not as heavy or is not as drawn out or it's not like a logical, played out, typical Renaissance era Triple H story, and it's only 4 or 5 matches, you're feeling like, eh. And on top of that, I would hate to invest my money in buying an early ticket to a PLE just based on the brand of the WWE, not knowing who's the main event or who's gonna be there. It's tough times when it comes down to going to live events, especially when you don't know who's gonna happen on Monday night, considering, or even on SmackDown, Nick Aldis puts together the main event that night. Ladies, all those kind of crazy things that happen, but I digress. We have business to do here. If you're new here, again, these predictions are just fun. All right, we're gonna have fun. If I nail one, awesome. If I get it totally wrong, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and talk about the card. The opening match, and then the one listed here on Wikipedia, is Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella, and this is for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. It's bizarre to think that this IC title is holding more prestige over than the title that Tiffany Stratton's holding on to right now, and of course the vacated title of Naomi. It is all in on the Becky Lynch ride, and she has definitely brought that IC title to an elevated level. And considering that Lyra Valkyria can no longer challenge for this title, I think it's been great because now we get these really cool things with Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Now, a lot of people want to look at the card and be like, well, Nikki Bella is someone as an older name, as an old diva, and why is she here? It doesn't have it anymore. It's a clear as a different eras. But I like this idea of Becky Lynch being the young buck during the Nikki Bella era, and then now Becky Lynch is at the top of her game and Nikki Bella trying to come back and take the I guess the high spot when it comes down to the Intercontinental. But dare I say, you can't call it a mid-card title because I feel like I mentioned, Becky's elevated to at least a higher standard. This has to be a Becky Lynch win. I would love to have Nikki Bella win. If they have Brie Bella here to do some twin magic, that might be an interesting wrinkle to give Nikki a hope spot. Like, oh my God, Becky Bella and Brie Bella are working together. What's Becky Lynch going to do? I'm hoping that Becky Lynch walks out of here as champion because there's just so much tread on this tire with Becky Lynch. Her heel promos are great, and she has just found a new kind of a level to explore, so to speak. She's always been regulated to these super maybe baby vanilla babyface promos. Even her I am the man kind of hit catchphrasey levels and really didn't go anywhere. She was white hot as the man, but Becky Lynch has now kind of restarted their new heel kind of feeling, and this heel feelings is kind of marinating at the right, and you smell what it's cooking and smells delicious, and you're just hoping that it sticks around a little bit longer because a Nikki Bella run, where does it go from there, right? Becky comes back maybe, but like I mentioned, the interesting wrinkle in this is if the WWE is able to get Brie Bella to show up to add a little bit of shenanigans to the spice. And next match, we have Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, the Tribal Thief versus the Tribal Chief, and this is just a plain old singles match. Now, why is this match here? It's obviously to build up the power and prestige of the Vision, with of course the Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, but this is a big match for Bronson Reed. I would say Bronson Reed had an opportunity at Elimination Chamber in Perth in his own backyard, but what ended up happening, I believe he had a child, he had to step aside, so I feel like this is like a run back. This is like an opportunity, like, hey Bronson, you've been a great commodity, you jumped off the top of the War Game cell and you shattered your ankles, let's give you an opportunity to at least add a little bit more prestige to you, man. Let's level you up a bit here. Let's evolve this little Pokemon into something stronger and go up against the big dog and Roman Reigns. Now, I'm confused about this because it doesn't feel like Roman Reigns is trying to go through the ladder and going to get to Seth Rollins. It hasn't even feel like that was what's happening. I haven't really felt it in the promo. It hasn't been driven home. That's what Roman Reigns wants to do. And I like the logic of, okay, go up against Bronson Reed, then go up against Braun Breaker to get to Seth Rollins. So the WWE could lay that out for me a little bit better, and I wish they did that better in the go home. Then I'll be solidified in this. But it just seems like I don't know, Bronson Reed's a bully and Roman Reigns wants to shoot backs. Like, honestly, that's what it boils down to. And Paul Heyman saying that he is the future and he's the vision. I just don't see Roman Reigns losing here. I think Roman Reigns has to win. I feel like in the same boat as the same situation that I am with Rhea Ripley. He just has to get some wins here and there. Roman Reigns needs a win. I think Roman Reigns, if he loses solo against a Bronson Reed, wouldn't look good. And I do feel that if the Vision takes an L here, then they will take a W later. This seems to be the kind of the trope that the WWE likes to do, that if the faction loses early, then there always will be booked strong. And considering the Vision has finally got their name and they're supposed to be the heel faction of the WWE that's running roughshod, I believe you're going to have to take an L here for Bronson Reed. Maybe he tsunamis Roman. Maybe this is a way that Roman Reigns gets written off for a while to shoot the Street Fighter movie as Akuma. Don't know, but at the end of the day, I think Roman Reigns does get the pin here. In the next match, we have Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. This feels like a weekly television match that you can have here. This is like the second one that's a gimmick match, if you really want to call the Fatal 4-Way one of them. But this match right here, I don't know. I would have loved for this match to be on Monday Night Raw, to be the main event, and then you put AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio here. Or, like I mentioned, just put AJ and Dom here as well. But Rusev versus Sheamus is a fun, kind of like an unexpected delight to have here. When Rusev re-signed, coming back from AEW's long hiatus was Miro, I've always thought that, dude, if the WWE could tap into like an inch or like a little bit of magic that Rusev was building as Miro, the Redeemer, I thought we'd be having a very interesting character to play with here, considering his history in the WWE. And so we're tapping into that with Sheamus in their long history of the League of Nations. So I absolutely like this idea. I don't feel like it belongs on this PLE. If I had a choice between AJ and Dominic Mysterio, I am hoping for a Rusev win here, simply because I feel like Rusev's character needs to be a dominant force in the lower to mid card. I feel like I feel his most kind of strongest attribute or his biggest resource for the WWE for Rusev is to use him as either a kind of threat for the heavyweight title or the IC title, as somebody that is always around that could could make your babyface look stronger. Rusev could get a great match out of you. It's different from a Gunther type of situation. I like Rusev's ferocity and all those kinds of things. And Sheamus, if Sheamus is not going for the IC title, if this is not a way to build up Sheamus for that IC title, then I don't see any reason why for him to win here, honestly. I like Sheamus. I think Sheamus is always for a fun banger of a match. But the only thing that hurt Sheamus going into this was he was always doing his hulking up against lesser talent in terms of ferociousness, like I mentioned. And him hulking up against Rusev is a lot more logical. It's a lot more cooler, if I want to say. But I'm going to give the dub here to Rusev because I'm a big fan of Rusev Day. In the next match, you have Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman versus CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight in the Fatal 4-Way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, if WrestlePalooza wasn't going to happen, and if WrestlePalooza is not the first ever ESPN PLE, I would say that maybe we get an LA Knight win here. Maybe we get a Jey Uso win here. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the WrestlePalooza at ESPN is definitely going to require bigger names, the biggest names possible. It's like all of a sudden all hands on deck for the WWE, as me and my friend Santi like to say, show their wares. And yeah, LA Knight's a cool little trinket on the table and it looks interesting, blast from the past type of thing, but he's not no CM Punk, he's not Seth Rollins. And that's the thing that it breaks my heart the most. If this was going to be a Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, that at least I would say, well, at least LA Knight will go in with the odds stacked against him. He'll probably beat up a Braun Breaker along the way, beat up a Bronson Reed along the way, maybe get his hands on Paul Heyman to make a memorable moment. But that is not the case. The mission is clear as day. Keep the belt on Seth Rollins at all costs. Set up a match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestlePalooza. That's going to be a banger of a match, and the build is going to be very, very easy to do quickly, so to get ready for that ESPN. They already opened up Raw on Netflix. Why not do it again with the ESPN thing with WrestlePalooza? Add a little bit more stakes to that bad boy. I would absolutely love LA Knight and Jey Uso to walk out of this to form a team called Yeah Yeet to go up against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Maybe those boys interfere in this match so Team Yeah Yeet could go ahead and continue forward while Seth Rollins and CM Punk do their thing. In the final match, and most likely the main event of the night, it is John Cena versus Logan Paul in a singles match. Once again, these are the things that I feel that this PLE is missing stipulations. Maybe if we're making for the number one contender, do these kinds of things to add more stakes to it. But the simple stake in that it is at play here is John Cena's final time in France. And at the same time, the crowd's going to be rambunctious and the crowd's going to make this memorable. And I've always said that Logan Paul is that catalyst that could take a match from this should have been on Raw, this should have been on SmackDown, this is a B tier match on the PLE, and he'll make it an A to S tier with a memorable moment. I really have enjoyed this build up in this father-son dynamic, the young Padawan going up against the wise leader or the wise veteran of John Cena. I like that they scratched the surface there and they dug a little bit deeper in Logan Paul, and at the same time, John Cena went back to his old school days of being a cool babyface, cutting very blurry gray line type of heels of kayfabe and all that kind of fun things that we love John Cena likes to do. And Logan Paul survived the roasting. So I'm hoping that this match is just going to build into something more at WrestlePalooza. Brock Lesnar is going to be waiting around in the wings to do that. And I think we're going to get a John Cena beating Logan Paul because Logan Paul is just not there yet. Logan Paul is too humble, so to speak, or he's going to get humbled. And maybe a Drew McIntyre can make an appearance here and maybe cost Logan Paul something. Regardless, at the end of the day, I do feel that Logan Paul and John Cena should be revisited. I know I'm alone in that park, and that's fine. At least I get the swings and slides all by myself until a lot of people realize the vision that I have in this story between Logan and John, and that there's a lot more underneath that surface level earth crust. But I'm going to see John Cena getting the win here. And he's going to have a face-off with Brock Lesnar, and you're going to get the announcers going, "I'll see you at WrestlePalooza on ESPN." And that's what's going to go down at Clash in Paris. And don't forget, I will be hosting a watch party on my Twitch channel and here on youtube.com/SanchoWestWrestling. So, hey, if you made it this far, why not you stop on by on Sunday and say hello. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.